that should work now. I'm not sure if YouTube Stream is on, because I'm using a different plugin than I usually use, because I thought that this one looked better. I can't speak. Gooder, bro, that's insane. Okay, let me change the title real quick. It's CYPHER Bind Iron 3. We'll save it. Okay, nice. That is, Iron 3, not Iron 2. I'm like a newborn baby, I think, with the. Oh, live announcement, this announcement, big, okay. I do have my YouTube chat up. It should be up there, and then. So I'm just getting everything sorted because I haven't streamed on this setup as I've mentioned. Wait, am I not displaying picture on Twitch? Oh, I am. Okay, I was scared for a second. I see the pop in my chat, which I need to remember how to do because I haven't done it in a year, bro. In years. Clear chat. Yeah. Switch to non-mod settings. Update chat. There we go. Grab that, and I'll just smack it here. There we go. It's weird using a new, like, I'm using Windows 11 as well, which I usually use Windows 10. So it feels very weird. Everything looks very different. Everything is just different. Very, very different. Am my audio working? It is. Okay, I'm ready to move the way I've set this out because I want to see my full thing. I do like this, I think. Yeah, that works. Oh, okay, you know what, actually, that works. Sure. Okay. So, let's move this down. Okay, okay, sorry, it's just getting things set up. This is my first stream, so it's kind of first stream in like a month, I think. First stream in a month, and it's on new PC, so we are just, it's like the growing pains, you know, just figuring things out. I shouldn't have, so thankfully as well, this PC doesn't drop any frames. I usually would drop like 2% of my frames. Around that sometimes, depending on what's happening, and this PC has not dropped frames on recording yet, so it's nice. That is nice. Oh, you can hear my fan. Okay, we'll turn the fan off. This fan. Okay. Okay, you can hear everything. Okay. I do need a fan on, so at least one of them. So what I'm gonna do is, wait, is this? Oh wait. Ah, there we go. That's my mistake. It was set through webcam for some reason, even though I've recorded already and not through the webcam. So yeah, it's fine. Sorry, I don't know why. It was decided that it wanted to use my webcam randomly. But there we go. Okay, the audio probably was absolutely horrendous. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing I managed to find that. Okay. I made the practice. My god. I had to practice. Let me just quickly grab this. Yeah. That should go to me. Yeah, it was. Okay. We can probably start. I just need to quickly open Val and turn off the sound. Real quick. Oh, let's mute it like this. Yeah, okay, nice. Let's mute it like that. Okay. And we want bind. Okay. We're sorted. I need to put my light on. Light is on. We'll just go towards the game. Window is a bit quiet. That's okay. I can turn it up for me.
Together, friends.
I think that's gonna be too quiet on the VOD, but it's fine. I don't know up on recording actually. Okay. Okay, we feel that. It's pretty cool. Okay. So first things first, We didn't buy. We need to make sure we always buy on pistol. You should always buy on pistol. No matter what. No matter what you want to buy, you're always going to buy on pistol. Hello, what's up? Yeah, you should always buy on pistol. It like depends on what you want to do. If you want a ghost, that's completely fine. You can go ghost. You can go double trip with armor. You can go full util. I think I like ghost and one trip, or I like double trip and armor. Those are the best two ones I would go with. So yeah. And if you want to do that as well, then if you want to do the double trips, then you place a trip like this. If you want to do the single trip, then you don't do it like that. You probably just do it like this. Over here. I need to make my thing a bit thinner. This is a bit thinner. There you go. You want to basically, you can see my pen? Can't see my pen. Okay. Okay, one thing at a time, I guess. I don't know why that's not working. It's on pen content surface 1. Oh. Okay. Oh, it is working? Wait, what's working? Oh, maybe I just had to refresh it. It's also not undoing. Okay. Yeah, so I would recommend that you, if you do go the double trips, you do these. If you do single trip, you do it like behind you, like this. If you want to go with the ghost, if you want to go, actually, yeah, you still do that. You still do that. That's fine. But like when I play Omen, I get ghost and smoke. But when on CYPHER, I will 3-shot classic. What do you mean? What do you mean you're 3-shot classic? I mean smoke and ghost is fine on Omen as well. You can do that on Omen. 3-shot classic. I don't know what that means. Hello, what you doing? I'm say coaching session for Iron 3 CYPHER. Like the burst mode on classic pistol. When so you like to use a 3-shot classic on CYPHER? Is that what you mean? So you'd like to use like the shotgun burst. I mean, I understand that as well. I understand that for Omen as well. I think on Omen it's also quite viable to go classic, because then you can use your own smokes to get like closer angles. So you can also go classic as well on Omen. I actually personally go classic on Omen when there's like good reason to, for like double smokes and like TP in a classic, or like armor in a classic. That's also a pretty good buy for Omen. But for CYPHER, you can go the double trips with armor. That works if you want to do the classic. So yeah, these 2 trips should be up. In that case, so yeah, make sure we buy on pistol every single time. Every single time you buy on pistol, no matter what, you're always buying on the pistol run. They give you 800 credits because it's like the ration you have. It's like you should use everything, because the pistol round means a lot more than the subsequent next like round basically usually. Because usually the winner of the pistol should win the second round.
We need to get inside.
My god, that guy's loud. Jesus.
Cover going out.
Okay. The camera's fine. We just don't need to take that long to place it. Well, this comes with practice, you know. If you know where you want to place it, just like place it, you know. But obviously there, we clearly didn't know where we were going to place it, so.
Spike down A.
Okay.
भाई तू स्मोक कर भाई heal दे उसे जल्दी.
The going into the camera was a bit scary because you can see the Omen actually saw you there, and you were still out in the open when you used your camera. Like this guy can still see you, realistically. He can still see you on this angle. So be careful of that. There's good shots anyway. This would have been prime time to have a cage, right? If you had a cage, this would have been quite good. I'm not saying that buys even one that you would normally do. I don't know why my undo button's not really working. I might try a different keyboard setting. Yeah, you can do a cage. Yeah, it's still not working. It's a bit weird. It like takes a second. It's a bit weird. Sorry. Yeah, you can buy a cage here, and it's pretty good for the. I can't undo. It's pretty good for the for this part here, if you want to do that. That is possible. And you can do that with a ghost. If you go ghost, you go trip and you go cage. So if you wanted to on this round, you could have had a cage here, and this would have been like prime time to use it, right? I need to sort my pen out. My pen is a bit annoying me. I can't undo it. I can't undo it. Nice try. I understand the reasoning here is to like go and help your teammate that's planting, right? You're like trying to fight with them. But realistically, what you want to do is you just want to, I would stay still quite near them. And just try and trade off their death, basically. Or like trade when they're about to get shot. And that way, maybe they'll both, maybe the person on the plant will also try and get off the plant and shoot back with you. Because right now, you're kind of putting yourself into like a 1v2. Which isn't obviously a good idea.
Player standing.
So you went a bit too far in position there. Maybe you should play a bit more equal with your teammate there. But it was a good try. I understand the reasoning why you did it. Okay. So I don't personally like you doing this, but at the same time, you also just saved. So at least I'm happy that you are investing in one of the rounds, but it really should be the pistol. Oh. Okay. Well, we should have invested in one of the rounds. Here. At some point. Even if you save the first round, you should definitely invest in the second round in some way, like a sheriff or even, I wouldn't say a marshal, I would say a sheriff. Is probably what you would buy. But usually that's a really bad idea. So I would always go and buy in the pistol round. So chamber's going quite fast.
Reloading.
But we can also walk to like mask on numbers.
Reloading.
Yeah, so in my opinion, this is like weapon identification. I also haven't I haven't pressed record. Oh, I'm gonna configure a path for my output. That's annoying. That was fun. Okay, I'll fix that in a second. But essentially, what I was gonna say here is, this is to do with this death is multiple things, but it's mainly to do with understanding what your weapon is capable of. So like buy in the first and less buy in the second round. What I would do is I would buy on the pistol, and if you lose the pistol, then I would make sure you have enough to buy for the third round. So you on CYPHER's case, right? That will be full armor. So full armor, and either Vandal, I would say AK, Vandal, or just I'll put V or P, Vandal or Phantom. And then you also want to buy a utility, right? So for CYPHER, that would be 400 for trips. It'd be 200 for CYPHER cages. So that's 600. So you want 3,900 plus 600, which is 4,500. So you want 4,500 for the next round. Not always possible if you don't get a kill and you don't get the plant on attack. Sometimes you will not be able to get everything. And you'll usually just skip a cage in that case. I can't even undo everything. There must be a setting that I'm missing in my Epic Pen that I haven't configured this time. So I might just have to deal with it for now. Until I can fix it off stream. Because I don't like fixing things on stream if I can avoid it. Just because it would waste time. Okay. I'll live with it. It's the first stream. It's meant for me to like also know what I'm dealing with my current PC as well. So I can fix things for next stream. Okay, so yeah. The other thing I also want to talk about as well. So the other thing I was talking about here was the classic. So, oh, sorry, I'm gonna have to mute my mic. I think you can hear that guy's car. Or I can just shut my window. Guy's got a really horrible sending car. Okay, so I'll buy the trip and the cage is optional according to my points. Yeah, so you can also buy utility anyway and just not use it. That's also another thing you can do on the second round. On the second round, something you can do is that if you do have enough money overall, haha, I'm here. If you do have enough money, you can just buy your utility. I'd be careful investing in both cages and also both trips, depending on map as well, especially. On buying, sometimes you can buy. You usually want to buy both trips because it's really hard to cover this with a single trip. So usually you're going to buy both trips on buying. So I buy both trips and just leave them, don't use them. And then they will just save for the next round if you don't end up using them, right? Cages are really more specific for this as well. Like if you buy the cages and you don't use them, then they're just saved for the next round. But there's also a real chance that on the second round, if it starts going your way, the cages can actually be meaningful because they can give you a smoke to like cross a choke point or a smoke to play off of and make another kill basically from those cages. So it is realistic that you want to buy 1 or 2 cages like on the second round. So then if you do come into a situation where it makes sense to use a cage, then you can use it. And then yeah, you have it there, but then it's not anything that is like wasted money because you can just save it for next round anyway. So just like bear that in mind. You can kind of use it like that. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the classic. Yeah, the classic. So this is not a very good fight for the classic because the classic is usually more excels at like bursting people, right? You've already mentioned the 3-shot like classic, right? The burst. The burst is better in close range, and this is not close range. This person has a ghost, and it's also more than likely that this person has Guardian or Bulldog or something as well. I mean, it's crazy that they have a ghost. Realistically, they shouldn't be saving here. They should have a Bulldog, probably, depending on their kills. Maybe a Spectre, but then she probably wouldn't be taking this fight either. So, yeah. It's all about thinking about what weapon you have and then using the weapon in accordance with what that weapon is capable of. So, I wouldn't be taking a long-range fight here. I would try and avoid that. So, I would try and find a way to, like, maybe get up to close short. So, close long. Or if there wasn't a fight in hookah, then maybe I would, like, try and go back and look for a fight in A. If that's possible, if our teammates are willing for that to happen. Sometimes that's not the case and you can't do that. In which case, you would just kind of hope to the best you can get something close range. Maybe you could have invested in a cage here and then use that cage on this round to try and get closer onto site, if that was also a potential play. You could have asked the Omen to smoke for you close like this, outside hookah, to try and get a close play that way. There's plenty of things that were possible. Although the last one with communication, like, that one I'm, like, willing to, like, you know, you can kind of do that whenever, because sometimes people aren't going to communicate with these things. Sheriff would be better in this case, right? Yeah, so the Sheriff would definitely help in that situation. But I'm not saying that you should always buy a Sheriff in this situation. What I'm saying is that if you have a classic, so if the classic is the item that is the weapon that you could afford in this round, then you need to play like you have a classic. Because right now you're playing like you have a Ghost or a Sheriff. So you need to play like you have a classic. So it's not about correcting the weapon, it's about correcting the gameplay. Because realistically, the weapon should be a product of what economy you have. So if you have like a good economy, you'll buy a Vandal, right? If you buy a Phantom, whatever, right? But if you have a bad economy, then you're going to be buying like classics, Sheriffs, Phantoms, Bookies, Judges. And you're going to be playing more close range with those weapons. Like that's like what I'm trying to say is that if you do have this type of weapon, it's about playing in line with its gameplay, basically. My epic pen's annoying me at the moment, but it's fine. What's this? There's like a new setting for it as well. I gotta sort out my epic pen. Okay, so we're on our first buy round. We should buy our utility here. So we need 2 trips in a cage, and as I've already mentioned, we need to place our trips on here and here. So the first trip will actually go on top of the stairs because it's not possible for anyone to jump it on top of the stairs. If you place it here, it gets jumped by someone on top of the stairs. And if you place it over here on this side, it gets jumped by someone jumping on top of this paint barrel thing, this paint can. So the trip needs to go on top of the stairs like this. There's also another line there, and it's also redoing stuff. That's a bit annoying. Okay, I will keep this in mind and think wisely. Okay. Yeah, so if you do have trips, you need to make sure you're placing them for anti-flank. And the other trip goes... I went back too far. The other trip will go on this wall here. But I would place it on the wall, that's the flat wall here. That will go onto here somewhere. It will go across here. That's the other trip you want to do, because it will fully cover the flank for you. And it basically just means that the only person that can get across the flank is Omen and maybe Sage if she uses wall to get over it, but that's really unlikely. Also very loud in comparison to everything else. So yeah, that's what I would do. We didn't buy any util here, which is really no, it's not very good. We need to make sure we buy our utility. Our utility is like our main, basically the reason why we play our agent. Because right now you're basically playing Counter-Strike, when realistically when we play Valorant, right? So we need to buy our utility. This is the reason why you're playing CYPHER, right? Is that you have this utility at your disposal.
140 होगा.
Mechanically, that wasn't that bad. I actually think that was pretty good. I think the main thing is that we need to try and aim at head height initially, because right now our crosshair placement's not very good. Like you can see here, right? Crosshair placement is kind of on her knees. You're like going to kneecap this guy. And the other thing as well is that our movement isn't very good. We kind of
140 होगा.
just stand still. and become a turret. And don't get me wrong, that turret gameplay is possible to win with, but it's a lot harder to win with. You need to have exceptional aim to actually play like that. So for most people, it's best that in between each of these bursts, you incorporate some counter strafing. So you just move left to right, basically take a full step left to right, or left and right, and shooting when you stop on each step, right? So you step. So basically, right here, you've taken a burst. After this burst, you should have taken a step to the right, and then you would stand still and take another burst. Then you would step left, stand still, take another burst. So that way, you become a lot harder to kill from the Sage's perspective. Right? You may not have taken as much damage if you actually did that. But overall, like, that was like pretty good mechanically. Once again, it's a bit. This is crosshair placement, right? I mean, it's fine now, but yeah, we're like moving around a bit. We're not really aiming in the right positions.
One enemy remaining.
Positionally, we're fine. Where do we place the trip? We place the trip. That's fine.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, we know where the last guy is, and we know the last guy is long.
One enemy remaining.
Because we heard gunshots after the person died. So we have a decent reason to know that this person is long, without even looking at our map. Mostly I tried to place my crosshair on head, but when the situation like this, I always fail. Like my aim is too inconsistent. Yeah, so it's just, I think it might be a focus issue then, maybe. Maybe you need to try and find a way to like lock into the situation. Really. Maybe it's panicking. Maybe you're panicking too much. I'm not quite sure whether you talking about it. But maybe it's panic. Maybe you're like a bit overwhelmed in the situation. But yeah, I think here we can know that they're long.
Behind you. Behind.
Yeah, we could have played off our trap. Crosshair placement is once again not in the greatest of positions, right? We're shooting their hip. Yeah, so panicking gunfights sometimes. Okay, so for me, there's I think one of the main reasons why people panic in gunfights is that they are too scared to die and therefore like lose the game, basically. They're too afraid to like be a burden on their team or something like that. So it depends on like what you think. Like, are you scared to like lose RR, or are you afraid to be embarrassed by what your teammates might think of your gameplay or that kind of stuff? Or is it more like, yeah, is it more like that you're just like afraid of RR losses? Because I have specifically talked about panicking regarding RR losses before. I haven't talked about it as much to do with like getting embarrassed by the team and that kind of stuff. And to be honest, I am trying to work out more things with that, because I think the way that I was thinking about it before wasn't quite... Because the thing is I naturally don't have a problem with that stuff. So I have to outsource it places. Like, I didn't fix it necessarily for me, if that makes sense. So I do have to do research on that kind of stuff, like with like getting embarrassed by what my teammates might think and that kind of stuff. With Valorant specifically, anyway. They definitely can get embarrassed by other people, like other people's opinions and that kind of anyway. Kind of depends on the situation, but in Valorant specifically, no, not really. Yes, like dying and we get blamed for match if we lose. Yeah, okay. So it's less about RR and it's more about like the perception of your teammates. And to be honest, the main thing I have for that is that if you believe you're making the right play and you can justify that in the situation to your knowledge, then you've got no reason to be embarrassed, right? Because being wrong isn't anything to be embarrassed about either, right? If you're just wrong about the situation and someone can point it out and be like, you're actually wrong here because XYZ reasons, probably a bit more colourful language, then it's fine. You can just admit, like, say, like, yeah, okay, I was wrong there. I'll just move on next time and do it correctly. Or maybe you were right and you were just like, okay, you'll just have to like deal with what they say if they're stupid and they say the wrong things and they have no idea what they're talking about. You just got to kind of try and ignore what they say and move on, and not really deal with them, really. Like, you just got to try and believe that what you've done is the correct play until you get proven otherwise. Because if you just believed what everyone was talking about, then it would be a complete wreck. Because people just, yeah, they say dumb things. A lot of people are stupid. So yeah, I would just try and not really care too much about what other people say, and just as long as you believe you're making the right decision, then don't worry. And it's all about, like, because bear in mind, right, it's all about a learning process as well. So if you are, like, if you just believe that if you try your best and believe that you're making the right decision, you also are more able to understand that you could be making mistakes, and the mistakes that you do make, you'll find them easier because you're putting your best in, and then therefore it's a lot easier to see what mistakes you're making and then actually improve those mistakes. I was trying to play and not care much, just try to improve. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you should be doing. And not caring about RR or anything, not caring about what the enemy, like the teammates or the enemies think, really. Just care about what your gameplay is and how to improve that. How to move forward, and yeah. Care about being like the right. Care about being right, not about being right in the perception of other people. Okay. Let me actually watch this round because I was too busy yapping. Okay, so you actually do have the benefit of having a chamber on your team as well, so you don't necessarily always have to have your trips for flank, which is nice. The trip has been great for what we've put down, but it's okay. I'll be fine with it. Usually I like the chamber to be the one that can put down his trip on the fly, rather than the trip flying.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, we know that that's goes fine. Rain is going to solo dice. Nice. Would I use to play off that trip, maybe? But maybe the communication is to go back, it looks like. Okay with that.
Easy.
The trip is fine to just, sorry, the cam is fine to just stay on potentially, but so you see her, or you can probably open that super late, that cam. That cam's actually really good for like the post plant, or like the, as they tap, you can go open the cam and tag them, and it will waste their time even further, right? Because they can't really defuse when they've got the tag on them. So it's really good to keep that cam like available and ready for when they tap, rather than just opening it. She's probably aggressive, right? Okay. So right here, we didn't really peek anything. You can see here, like, you kind of just walked out. And the problem is with this, right, is that, first of all, we're also closer to the angle. So we're actually going to be exposed first. So generally as well, when we're peeking someone, we want to be as fast as we can on their screen. So if we want that to be the case, then it's probably best for us to plant ourselves here. Like, plant ourselves, like, beyond the corner. Like, if that makes sense, like, behind the corner. Like, away from them, right? So you can plant yourself here. And then when you're ready to peek with your crosshair, right? Put your crosshair ready to peek, and then you peek, right? You peek when you're ready to go. Let me see if I can open Valorant real quick. Let me just quickly go on practice range and explain what I mean, because I don't feel like I'm comprehensively doing that. Let me close. Let me hide Chrome, and then Valorant. I don't have sound on currently because it's just for the VOD. But what I mean is that instead of, let me put bots on. Instead of, let me go Sage as well actually. Instead of, what I mean is like, instead of doing this, instead of doing that, what I would do when I know that someone is in a specific position, I'm going to be more able to like put my crosshair in the right position and put myself in a way that I can position and peek them correctly, right? So pre-place my crosshair and move myself, not my crosshair. True, yeah, exactly. So if I know where the bot is now, right, I'm going to make sure I'm aiming at his head height and then swing him. And then I can use the movement. If I get it wrong, right, so say my crosshair's here. If I get it wrong on the bot, I can use my movement to correct myself. So instead of just doing this, I can do this. And as you can see, I corrected my crosshair during my movement, and as soon as my crosshair was on his head during my movement, I stopped and then shot. So that's what like how you kind of peek, right? That's the basic way of kind of peeking, is that you'll use the movement to correct yourself and aim, because it's like two things you can do at the same time, right? You can move and aim at the same time. You can't move and shoot at the same time. So as soon as you are ready to shoot the bot, that's when you're going to, or shoot the enemy player, that's when you're going to stop still and then shoot. So that's what I would say is like the best way to like, or just the most basic way to peek an angle. Yeah, so we'll move on back onto the VODs. If I can tab out correctly. Which one is it, that one? Yeah. So yeah, as I mentioned here, right, there's other things as well, like technically, like I did mention that you're close to the wall here, so you are being spotted first, and that's just like to do with peeker's advantage and how it works with like people's like the perception in the game. Where if you're closer to a corner, you're going to be you're going to basically be seen first. So it's even more important when you're close to a corner like this compared to her, right? She's very far away from this corner and you're very close to this corner. It's actually much more important in this situation for you to be swinging than it is for you to be like slow peeking. If you were the Reyna and you were really far away from the angle, it actually makes more sense sometimes for you to actually be walking around the angle and like scanning the angle. So what I'll quickly tab back into Valorant, I think, and show that. Did I just close Valorant? No, I didn't. So I'll close Chrome. I'm into Valorant. So what I mean by scan the angle, is instead of like peeking like we just said, like this, right? Whatever. Instead of peeking like this, instead of that, what we do instead is we scan the angle. So we do this, and then as soon as we see someone, we'll shoot them, right? We just scan the angle. So we're gonna put do this. That's what we do if we're the Reyna, because we're further away from the angle. So that's just like the opposite of what we might see. Or like that's usually good if you don't know where the person is as well, because then you don't know where they are, you're scanning the angle around. I didn't get. Do you still not get it, or should I explain it again?
Find them again.
Should I explain it again? Sorry. You got it now. Okay, all good. Okay, so we're going once again. I'm not going to keep mentioning it, but I think trips. Make sure you place your trips on flank, in buy phase. That's something you can do in buy phase as well. Like it's not something that's going to take any time in the round.
The
wall is very interesting.
Head.
I don't mind the trip, but I think this is what Chamber should have done. Chamber should be the one tripping this, and you should have the anti-flank trips. Okay. Okay, I think I would also like to see you lurk a tiny bit as well. I feel like we've gone with the team a lot, so I feel like you can find like some lurks and things. And I understand that also might be one of those things where you're afraid of dying and being like the reason why you lose. But once again, as we've already mentioned, right, you're not going to get better at lurking and be like not the reason why you lose if you don't do it and you don't learn how to do it, right? So take these games, take every single ranked game as a learning experience and not like a thing to climb in, right? Because that's how a lot of players would have learned. That's how some of the best players would have learned as well. There are some like pro players currently that were like in bronze or iron or something. No, probably not iron, but they're in bronze, and they were in at the time iron didn't exist, so it would have been bronze. They were in bronze at the time, and then they end up in pro play because they would have had this mindset of I need to learn the game, not climbing the game right now. So I should take a chance of trying to get kills. Yeah. So it's not exactly taking a chance to try and get kills. Lurking is more a bit map control, so it's like you're stopping the enemy team from taking any free space that might exist in the map. So you're just kind of sitting there waiting for someone to make a dumb mistake on the enemy side of the map, right? That's usually what a lurk is. There's many different ways to lurk though. That is just one way to lurk. There's other ways to lurk as well. So you can lurk and you can be aggressive in a lurk as well, and you can go for like a really crazy like 1v1 or something like that if you know that you can punish them and that kind of thing. You can go really aggressive, you can go really passive. It depends on what your team is doing. It depends on what you think the enemy team is going to do as well. So it just depends on a lot of situations, and those are for you to learn, right? Because you're not going to learn these situations if you don't play them. So you need to actively try and lurk and find games where, or find rounds that make sense for you to lurk. And then play those maps out, right? Play those rounds out, and try and learn where the enemy's going to be, what the enemy's doing, and use that for future games. Use that for future rounds, like what people usually do, what people like popular corners that people like to sit in, etc., etc. Right? Okay, so that player definitely caught you off guard here. Yeah, I think this is like two things. I think we're making a bit too much sound overall. I think once you get the orb, you should walk from this point on. So right here, I would have been walking the entire time. I would not have run at all. Until I knew for a fact that the Reyna probably has rotated around. I can kind of understand why you thought the Reyna probably might not have been here. But you did check it, so maybe you weren't really thinking that. But yeah, I feel like to be honest, the Reyna probably shouldn't have been there. But at the same time, she was there. So at the time she was there, right? So I think we could have been a bit more safe until we did find where the two people were. We are, as I've already mentioned, right, with the lurk, right? I wasn't expecting it, yeah. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, it is what it is. It's fun. It's one.
Plant calm down.
I think it is partly to do with like not walking, because a lot of lurking as well is to do with information and like lack of information, like because you knew the Reyna wasn't there. Because once you're taking the orb, when you're taking this orb, I look at the map every single time I take the orb. So I would have known. Actually, to be fair, our map also does need to change a tiny bit, but I would have looked at the map while taking the orb, and then I would have known that the most likely no one's really shown on the map as far as I know, and then use that to determine that there's probably still someone A that's like waiting to TP or something. Like that's what I would have probably guessed, right? So yeah, that's what I would say, is that when you're not able to shoot, try and look at the map. I also want to mention your map is a bit too big, a bit too zoomed in, because we can't see the rest of the map, right? You're missing like a portion of the map that's pretty valuable to know what's going on inside it, right? It's pretty valuable to know what's going on in like the elbow area and the sight area. So I would just zoom out your map a bit. Usually I'd like to have mine fixed, but you don't have to have it fixed if you don't want to. I usually like mine not centered, but you can have it centered if you want to. Just make sure that you can see, no matter what your map settings are, just make sure that you can see all of the map at all times. Yeah, you can change the map, yes. If you go in the settings, let me quickly see if I can do that actually. Let's go into settings real quick. Any loads? Oh, I got flagged for AFK as I tabbed in. That's okay. It's on video? No, it's on general. General video? No, it's not. It's on general. Okay. It's on general, and it's going to be on map. No, it's all good. It's all good. These are my settings for the map. If you want to use them. What I can do is I can quickly snipping tool them. Snipping and tab into... Oh, actually, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I need to do like this. I do a snipping tool in game. I never really use snipping tool. I always use Gaiazo usually. I can snip in. I can use that in game. Was it with shift windows? I saw some shift windows, but I don't have windows. Okay, I can't really send a screenshot. But those are my settings for the map. I also do have like 2 settings guides, I think. One's more modern than the other. And those both have both of those will have my map settings on them. So if you want map settings that I have, which are like fixed and you can see the whole map, then you can copy those if you want to. You took a screenshot, okay, yeah. Sorry, I was going to take a screenshot, but I haven't got my normal screenshotting tool installed on this PC yet. But yeah, okay. We'll go back onto Chrome.
30 seconds left.
Keep doing that. Yeah, okay. You can see if you like it as well. If you don't like it, you can like mess around with some other settings as well. Like if you don't like the map fix, like my map looks like your map when you're dead. This is what my map looks like. You can see the whole map, and yeah, you can just see the whole map. You see the whole map, and you can see everything. It's not centered, it doesn't spin, but yeah, you can have those settings on as long as you can see everything. It doesn't really matter too much what the specific ones are, as long as you get the specific thing that you can see. Did I go back too far or something? That looked like a carbon copy of the round we saw the other time. No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, so we haven't really played off trips again, but yeah, I've already mentioned that, so we'll talk about it.
On hiding.
I like the ult. Ult is good. Okay, we know both are right, so this is like prime time to TP. You either TP or you... Oh, okay. I didn't actually see that they had the res. That's my mistake. I didn't realise. Yeah, so you'd fight the res. You'd probably fight the res if you did. You got the kill.
30 seconds left.
Now you'd run B, realistically. Yeah, the rotating call was good, but it's less good now that Omen's stuck. Oh my god, what happened there? Omen TP'd. Oh no. I don't think. Yeah, okay. Once again, we're gonna shoot him. It's not gonna work out, really. You need to try and stand still when you shoot. Because as well, right here, this is panic, right? Because right this second, like, as soon as she pops out here, she's unarmed. You can see her. She's killable, and she's unarmed right now. So if you go for the kill, you're probably gonna get it. If you just stand still and kill her, you'll probably beat her because she has like 0.5 seconds of time where she can't shoot back with her hands out like this. She can't shoot back right now. You had plenty of time. Actually, he has more than that. It's maybe a second. I think it's about a second worth of time that you have there. So yeah, you just need to try and stay calm in that fight, and you probably get the kill. Yeah, okay, once again, trips, but that's fine. Once again, it's the movement here. We shouldn't really be walking this, we should be swinging this. I panic and lost a lot. Yeah, okay, I can see that, but it's okay. It happens. I think a lot of people go through like this at some point in some games, like in a game that they've not played very much as well. Especially, I've probably gone through this in Valorant as well at some point when I first started playing for sure. And there's still times where I do put pressure on myself and when I can whiff and that kind of stuff. I don't think anyone's like immune to it. It just happens. It just happens. But I think the way to mitigate it is, as I've already mentioned, like, try and take away the pressure points of the game, like RR gains and opinions of teammates and enemies, that kind of stuff. As long as like you can realise like they have no basis because they haven't seen you for all the games you've played and that kind of stuff. So it's what it is. But yeah, right there on the get-go, the swing was really important there. I think to get the kill instead of the slow walk. And once again, this is cross-out based up. Just too low. I think one of the greatest things at the moment as well is I think we need to get like good gunfights. The main thing right now I think is gunfights. So like we've already talked about the non-panic and stuff, but I think as well an exercise for like crosshair placement and counter strafing will do quite well. I think. Yeah, what I need to do as well, I've actually just reminded myself that I do need to make a video on the normal, like the things that I usually give students, because that would actually be really helpful for my students. I need to actually do that. Make a video for that, because me explaining it every time as well. I mean, I don't mind explaining every time, but counter strafing. So yeah, counter strafing, or you might have heard it as like dead zoning or something like that. If I just go on to Valorant, you might have heard it as dead zoning or something like that. Maybe, I'm not sure. It depends what service you're in, or like what content you listen to or watch. Can I go and practice again? You said not to move and shoot. Yeah. So yeah, not to move and shoot. Yeah. Counter strafing isn't really moving. Well, it's moving and shooting, but it's not moving and shooting together. I should have been more specific. You shouldn't move and shoot at the same time. Counter strafing is about moving and shooting to be more like slippery, basically. Shooting when you're standing still. So like counter strafing is like okay. So moving and shooting looks like this, right? This is moving and shooting. So you can see that. This is counter strafing. There's a massive difference. Massive difference. That's counter strafing. So what counter strafing is broken down is that you're going to shoot while standing still, and then you're going to move, and then you're going to shoot again, and then you're going to move, and then you're going to shoot again. That's what counter strafing is. So when I say moving and shooting being counter strafe, so move, stop, shoot, move, opposite, repeat. Yeah, it doesn't have to be opposite necessarily. It can be the same direction. You can do it like this. It kind of just depends on the situation. It just depends on the situation, which way you move and that kind of stuff. But yeah, most of the time, like, you want to just be making sure you're moving and take it. And by the way, I don't mean move like this as well. Don't move like this. This is going to do nothing on the enemy screen. Like, you move like this, it's going to do nothing. They don't see the movement. You need to take like full steps like this. Full steps. Because then they'll probably see the movement then. If I actually do put audio on, it might be easier as well. So you can see here, like, I can move and not make sound. I'm not making any sound right now when I move. So this is a silent counter strafe basically. But usually you want to make sound when you counter strafe. Like that. Because that means you've taken a full step and it's going to look really fast on the enemy screen. So move, stop, shoot, move opposite, but do I move my crosshair too or just move? Okay, so it depends on your crosshair placement. Usually you are going to be pre-aiming an angle when you counter strafe usually. But if you're going to be counter strafing in a fight, then you're going to be using the movement time to aim. So like I'm not going to move, stand still, then aim at my target. If I just on this, I'm not going to do this We're going to move, stand still, aim. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. What I want to do instead is I want to, so like say if I just swung this guy and my crosshairs off the target, well, instead of just stopping, knowing I'm off the target, I'm going to just keep moving, make sure my crosshair gets onto the head, and then stop and shoot. So I'm going to do something like this, right? Where eventually, where you can see like I'm correcting myself during the movement. And then I'm stopping to shoot because I'm ready to shoot because my crosshair's on the head. So that's the reason, well, that's like what Ken's strafing kind of is with that. So hopefully that was helpful. Okay. We'll go back onto the vaults. Okay, we go for a crosshair. We go for a crosshair. We go for a trip. Okay, we do try and place one. So yeah, what I would also recommend as well. I'm not sure. Do I have a guide on CYPHER on bind? I'm not sure if I do actually. Do I have a CYPHER bind guide? Let me quickly check. If I don't, then I mean any other guide would probably suffice. But I also don't know because I don't know what kind of guides are out there. I don't know if there could be a completely horrible misleading guide on bind. I do have a CYPHER bind guide, but it was published 2 years ago. So some things might be outdated on it, but for the most part, it should be fine. My CYPHER bind guide. There might be some things I'll talk about that like sometimes you might want to do versus like specific new agents and that kind of stuff, or maybe there's like some changes that are different now or something like that. But this does have the attack trips on it. So on the attack, I actually do want to at some point put on chapters for my guides because it does suck to like go through these guides and not have chapters.
And not run into a trip.
Yeah, okay. So about 9 minutes in to that video, I do talk about, or 9 minutes 30, 9 minutes 20, 9 minutes 20, I do talk about the anti-flank trips on attack there. So that's where you want to place them. But yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can just have that video saved on what you want to do with CYPHER on that. And don't get me wrong as well, I'm not the only source as well for CYPHER guides and things. Like there are probably going to be, well, there are definitely people that are really good at CYPHER out there as well. So you can look at those. One good CYPHER player that I can think off the top of my head is the guy that has, oh, what's his name? Why can't I remember his name? He has the dog, Acre. His name's Acre. A-C-R-A. I can't even speak. I-C-R-E. Acre the dog. CYPHER. Or usually bind guide, it probably will come up. CYPHER, just Acre the dog, that's his name. Acre the dog. This guy. This guy is also very good at CYPHER. So he's a good one to look at as well for like, he does a lot of crazy things on CYPHER, some things you'll probably never need to do in some cases, but he's at a basic level, he's also very good at CYPHER, so copying some of the stuff that he does, like setup wise and that kind of stuff, is also pretty good to do. He will guide you in the right direction. As well. Okay.
One enemy remaining.
One enemy remaining. One planted. We're chilling. Okay. Oh, I wouldn't place a smoke on the bomb. Usually a smoke on the bomb would help the enemy. Would help the attacker retake the bomb, because if you give them a smoke, they can defuse without anyone looking at them. So I wouldn't give them a CYPHER cage to use. It also gives them ownership of the smoke. So if you give them a cage, they can like peek out of any angle of that smoke and all that kind of stuff. So I'd be careful giving them a cage in those situations. Oh wait, do we? Indeed. Once again, just crosshair placement looking great. We also shot a bit too fast as well, I would say. Which sounds crazy, but usually that usually does happen as well. I think we shot a bit too fast. So what I mean by that is we shot before we aimed. If we aim at the head, then he dies on the first bullet, basically. Potentially. More than likely, I think, at this range. I think this is close enough. Yeah, we just shot too fast. We shot before we aimed. So just bear that in mind as well. Like in these types of fights, you want to be aiming and moving before you actually start shooting. And you'll also see a lot of pros do that. Aspas is actually one of the biggest players that does this, and he obviously is a very good player. So if you want to like get really, really good mechanically, things like moving and aiming before you even start shooting at someone is going to be a good way to win a lot of those types of fights, where you both are kind of looking at each other at the same time. It's not always the case, but like it definitely does help in a lot of fights. They tend to be more even. But if you start moving, they start whiffing.
Down.
Backside to
Once again, crosshair placement.
Spike down.
We got kind
A.
of lucky that guy was like sleeping over in just W key.
तुम लोग वहीं रुको यहीं पे
You guys, you could just ult here. I would just ult here, right? It's 4v3. Don't think we have much shoot. Yeah, okay, nice. Nice. I like the ult. I like the ult. Perfect, perfect. Your teammates now have freedom to go on to B. Brilliant ult, brilliant ult. I would just run B here. You don't really have to do anything crazy because Reyna's kind of doing it for you. So once a Reyna runs towards A there, I would just run to B because my teammates are going to need me on B. And I'll let the Reyna lurk and do what she wants to do. Okay, so we end up taking TP anyway.
One
That's fine.
enemy remaining.
Your teammates have got it handled on site anyway. Nice. The rainbow omen as well.
You're just
Your ult was good there. Okay, I'll try to make then shoot, aim then shoot, yeah. But sometimes, or move then shoot. But sometimes, like it feels like, feels a little slow, I panic. Aim then shoot. So sometimes it feels a little slow, so you panic. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that can happen. But it's all about once I've said before, like it's just a learning experience, right? You'll get a good feel for your mechanics. If you are scared about doing it, you can also do it in DM first, especially like these more mechanical things. Just try it in DM first to get like more of a feel for it. Bear in mind that in DM, it's not match made. Like it's not balance in game. Like in the game, isn't really that. It's not really accounted for that much in DM. So you're gonna go against way better players in DM than you will do in ranked because they're not going to be accounting for your rank. So just don't be disheartened if you like die a lot in DM, if you do DM, because it's a natural thing that happens. Everyone has troubles in DM because DM is meant to be there to warm up and like just warm up your aim and move around and that kind of stuff rather than to actually get high amounts of kills and to look good and that kind of stuff. So yeah, don't be too disheartened if like the DM doesn't go too great, but just try it in DM and just chill really. Just try and learn what you want to do when you go into into comp games.
Left on your left foot.
Okay. Unlucky. Yeah, once again, it's a bit that's like planting yourself on the angle. Instead of walking around the angle, you plant yourself here and swing. So something I also didn't mention that might be interesting as well, for specifically this reason as well, and also kind of like the other kill as well, the other one on the Reyna, on site, is I'm just opening up the range again. On the other one, and this was kind of the same thing on the other one as well. Is that if you're closer to the corner, sometimes it's going to be easier for. Let me go back on Sage. Sometimes it's better for you when you plant yourself at a corner, because I didn't really mention this and I should have mentioned it. If you plant yourself at a corner and then swing, it takes some time for you to build up speed. So if you go to the corner like this and swing, I'm actually quite slow right now. This is actually quite slow. But if I come back further and I swing like this, I've reached full speed before I've come around the corner. So then I come around the corner at full speed on their screen, and it's a lot harder for them to shoot me. So don't go straight to the corner like this and swing like this, because it's going to be slow on their screen, right? And it's going to be a free kill. But if you go further away from the corner and swing like this, that's when it's going to be a lot harder for them to shoot you. So just bear that in mind when you're like planting yourself for one of these swings, because it can be the reason why you might die in one of those swings or not die in one of those swings. So yeah, it's not super important. You can probably live without doing that specifically, but I would get in the habit of doing it, because it's going to help you positionally to like it's going to help you just to position in places to then be able to do that effectively. Because that was one of the things that I was struggling with when I was going through like some ruts as well, where I felt like I was so slow when I was peeking people, until I realized like I actually just need to build up my momentum first when I swing, and then I'll be nice and fast. And then I remember thinking that I've just unlocked a new skill, and it really was a new skill. So yeah, it is something that is really good to do, to make sure be aware of like how fast you are on enemy screens. Yeah, you should try it. Okay, this is wild trip if you do it on the ceiling. You know, honestly, I mean, it's not very good, but if it could be technically like a kill trip, like sometimes people might not notice it's there. But yeah, I wouldn't reply that. I wouldn't reply that.
Okay. बाप रे, मुझे revive कर इधर आके.
It just didn't really do anything really. It might work as a kill trip, but it's like so unlikely. You need to have like crazy foresight to understand that was gonna happen. They're gonna walk into it. Wait, he got red? Oh my god.
हमारा सेज चुके हैं क्या ये किसका दोस्त है सेज
Okay, we're on for our septikill, or what is it called with 6? No, the sept is 7. Hexakill.
I have retrieved the spike.
Or have our hexakill?
30 seconds left.
The spy destroyed.
Seconds left.
Trips are fine, or the one trip is fine. We got one with the trip.
Tripwire destroyed.
Time is also fine. You need to try and find a kill. Usually when you're in a 1v2, one of the biggest ways to win a 1v2 is to get a kill first before you have like a chance to be 2v1'd. So usually you want to be trying to be aggressive in a 1v2. Usually, not always, but usually. Because you would take a fight before the enemy can set up a kill on you, basically. And then it becomes a 1v1. And then it's just like really hard for them to... It can be even harder for them to then win that round. So you know that he went Heaven or CT.
सेव तो मत कर
And you had one... Oh, unlucky. Yeah, I think you're playing a bit too defensively here. You're playing way too defensively. You were trying to go Heaven. It wasn't really planted Heaven. If you do want to go Heaven, that's fine. Or if you want to go CT, that's fine. Just plant for yourself. So just plant backside. Plant behind truck, plant behind triple, and then go Heaven. I actually think that would work as well in a 1v2 because you can divide them up and fight like as you mentioned, right? You can divide them up by doing that as well. But yeah, in the 2v1 you do want to be trying to divide them up and try and find the 1v1s first before they set up the 1v2 on you.
सेव तो मत कर भाई
Yeah, if you do want to go Heaven, just plant for yourself. Like plant somewhere that you can see it. I'm not sure, you might actually be able to see it there. I don't know 100%, but I think you can. So I think you are fine going Heaven here actually.
सेव तो मत कर भाई
You are fine going Heaven there actually. Now on a second look, I realised you planted away from the truck, so yeah, you can actually plant there. You can plant there and go Heaven. Yeah, that's fine. If honestly, if you from this point, once you hear this guy do this, and you start walking this way, you might catch a timing on the Omen that he's running up Heaven because of where he's TP'd, and you might actually kill him on Heaven and then leave the Reyna in a 1v1, and then you have a planted for you. So I think if you were just quicker on the decision to go Heaven here, you might have actually just won this round pretty handedly. But yeah, you're kind of messing around a bit there, but it's okay. Movement wise, so you were just I'm not sure if you like initially thought to go Heaven or, but yeah, it was a good try anyway. Nonetheless, a good try. 4 kills. It looked like a winnable round as well. It was the time was actually going down quite far. Okay. What trips we got? Okay, it looks like we're just like kind of learning like what we want to do with our trips. But yeah, as mentioned, the guide that I've mentioned and some of the players as well. You can also copy pro trips as well. There are also plenty of pros that play bind on CYPHER. So you can copy ones from pro play, copy ones from pro like streams as well. I can't remember who really plays CYPHER. Off the top of my head, it's like Alfie, but I don't think he really streams, does he? It's usually Chronicle that streams, but Chronicle doesn't play CYPHER that I remember. Oh, streams. Nats will stream. Oh, Nats. Oh, Nats is the obvious one. I don't know why I forgot about Nats. But yeah, Nats is the obvious one. So you can do that. Look at Nats streams. To learn how to play CYPHER on all the maps. Because he plays CYPHER very well on all the maps. Oh my god, that's so insane actually. That was so lucky. That hit. That's insane. I think you just need to take your time. I mean, you did kind of take your time. But once again, like I mentioned, just try and shoot when you've got the crosshair on there. It's miraculous that then you're not really accounted for because the gecko's looking away from you. You heard the one backside. So we know where both are. Backside. Oh, one behind you. Oh, unlucky. Yeah, you heard him run backside here. Right there. You can hear him running backside. There. You heard him run backside near the how are you, Mr. Stream? I'm good, thank you. Yeah, you heard him run backside there, so you know he's coming behind you. I'm not sure, obviously, like, it depends on headset and, like, your surrounding sound. Like, you might have, like, some people might have, like, their family in the background, they're, like, downstairs, they've got the TV on, like, you know, it depends on the surrounding sound you have. So I'm not saying, like, it's ideal that you do find a quiet place to play. If you can't find a quiet place to play, then that's that, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, ideally you want to find a quiet place to play so you can hear that kind of stuff. To be fair, I have found it quite hard to hear them with how loud your teammates are. So it might also be quite good to turn down your teammates a bit. Was it you actually? It might have been you talking actually. So you wouldn't have heard that, so it's fine. I was a little engaged with Gecko there, I didn't hear him. Oh, okay, that makes sense, yeah, that's fine. It's just a bit multitasking. I feel like, yeah, that's just like awareness and like being familiar with the game. So you'll probably get that eventually, where you're a lot more in tune with like surrounding sounds when you're taking fights and that kind of stuff. It's not always that obvious either. Like sometimes it can be really difficult to hear things depending on what gun you use as well. But yeah, just depends. Just depends.
Spike. अरे चूतिया spike पे. बस मर गया.
It's fine. I was scared that this wasn't loading. Okay, so we regress. We're in 2v2. One long going TP.
TP मार दिया से spike के साथ.
Was that one TP?
करके बैठे सब लोग.
That was just one TP.
TP.
Found you.
Okay, you know everyone now.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, this is good.
Sage के पास ही spike CYPHER.
I would try and be very unaggressive here. Okay, that was risky. So, as soon as your Reyna gets this kill, the first thing I'm thinking of is living here and trying to see if I can connect up with my Reyna. Why is my control Z working? There you go. The first thing I'm going to try and do as soon as she gets this kill is try and connect up with her, trying to go this way, because basically the only way this guy wins if he takes 1v1s, right? Just reverse what I just said about the two 1v2s, right? Now we're the two in the 1v2. What does this person want the most? This person wants two 1v1s. She wants to be able to take one kill and then another kill. So the best thing to do is to try and find a way that you two can link up and get a trade or get like a high-low situation going. So then it makes sense, or crossfire, right? So then it means that she can't take this 1v1 she wants. So that the first thing I would do is as soon as this person gets the kill, I'm thinking about how can I link up and make it so this person can't get that free 1v1. Sometimes it's not always the case. Sometimes it can be very hard for you to link up. And in those cases, it's about playing for your life as well as possible. So in this situation, because it may not be, I mean, to be fair, it is quite easy to link up. You just run this way. But if you can't, in the situation you can't link up, then what I would do is I would just play for your life effectively. You might even, if you've ever heard pro comms, you might hear things like play for ones. You might hear that phrase being said, play for ones. If you're in like 2v1 sometimes by pro players, what they're saying is they're playing for 1v1s with the last guy because they can't link up and they want to try and live as long as possible and to like delay the guy or like buy time for like the bomb to go off, or they want to get one as low as possible, so give him two hard fights, so then it's hard for him to win those two 1v1s in a row. So sometimes that can be the case where if you give him a really hard 1v1 initially, he's going to be like 10 HP to fight the next guy. So it's really, really easy for the next guy to get the 1v1. So sometimes you might hit that as well. And that can also be a viable way to play out 2v1s. But if you can link up with the teammate, it's usually better. But it just depends. Depends on the situation. Just depends on the situation. Okay, we're going to go A again. I actually prefer A when... I think we prefer A when we have a chamber for CYPHER, because I think CYPHER can be a lot more annoying on A than chamber can. I think chamber has real good ways to be annoying on B. So when we do have CYPHER, we do have chamber and CYPHER. I like chamber to be B and CYPHER to be A. But very rarely do I get this comp anyway, to be honest, because a lot of people just prefer to play duelists. They just instant like duelists, and we don't ever get like double sentinel. But in the rare cases that you do get double sentinel, then going A on CYPHER and chamber is pretty good. Okay, so what do we do here? Your setup's fine. but I wouldn't run away from the site. I understand. Actually, no, it's not fun. Sorry. This is too high. I think if you can put it down here, I think. I actually don't mind this trip that much because if anyone wants to go aggressive this side, or if anyone wants to go aggressive and link up with the teammates, if from main, then they get cut off. I think I would prefer it to be on this box, like on this wall to this box, like this. That's probably the best place to put it on this side. And then on A, you can put one. I like to put one either on the stairs going this way, or like towards site, or I like to put one that goes like this somewhere. Those are the two ones that I like. So I would recommend doing some of those instead of, and also be careful about how you place the trips. If I just go on to Valorant again, like that, I probably will be flagged as AFK again. But that's okay, it's just a range. I'm just going to quickly show you how to place CYPHER trips, because CYPHER trips are pretty easy to like to remember how to place them. All you want to do really is just match up with head height. So if you're going to place, it's not always the case, like sometimes you can't get close enough and you'll use, like, for instance, like you could use like the geometry of the map to like line up where it's going to be. Like you can say, oh, it's going to be on this crack, and there we go, that's going to be a good trip. You can do that as well, but if you don't really have a lineup for it or anything, what you can do is you can just crouch and make sure the laser clips through your head like this, and therefore it won't be jumpable, and it also won't be crouchable. And usually you want to put it like as high as you can on your head, so like this, that is not going to be jumpable, and it's not going to be crouchable, because it's going to hit their head because it hit my head, and they also can't jump it because they can't jump CYPHER trips. They can't jump high enough to get to jump CYPHER trips that are placed high enough, right? That places head height while crouched. So yeah, just bear that in mind with like how to place your trips, because that's pretty important for CYPHER. Okay. Okay. I haven't gone too much over the economy since the pistol, because we haven't really, like, I feel like I can tell your economy feels fine on buy rounds and things. You buy your utility and you also buy solo queuing opinion. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Yeah, I think like your buying has seemed fine on every single buy round so far. It's only the pistol that seemed like meh.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise you've been fine for buying economy wise. No change. Obviously there might be some minor tweaks to make that kind of stuff, but I think for the most part it's been good. What's your opinion on solo queuing? I always solo queue, so I usually have a positive opinion of solo queuing. Obviously I'm not saying a positive opinion is in it's a good thing to do necessarily, because usually it's better if you want to be sane while also queuing, and you also want to have like a decent amount of fun, then having someone to duo queue with is probably the best thing to do. But yeah, solo queuing I find fine to do. It's just the same as every other game. I've literally played competitive games for, well, like going on like what, 14 years now, which to be honest in the esports space might be quite young overall. But yeah, I've been playing for like 13 to 14 years now, like competitive games. So to me, like, I'd have always solo queued in every single game, so it makes sense for me to positive and solo queue. But yeah, I think solo queue's fun. If you find it fun, play it. If you find duo queue more fun, then play that. That's fine. It's up to you. Yeah, it's a bit by pistol. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that your economy has been quite good. As far as I can tell, it seems pretty good overall. It's just a pistol, that's it. So yeah, just wanted to mention that because it seemed like a very positive note in the overall gameplay.
Reina window mein Marmat Reina.
Okay, what's going on there? Got a party going on in the. There wasn't really much going on that round for us, I don't think. The only thing is with the cages, but yeah, I understand that like you were trying to get the cages to be placed. That's fine.
27.
I understand your intentions. It's just mechanical. That is, so yeah, it's all good. Intention was fine as well. Intention was good. But I don't think you would like run out the smoke to do that. It might just be like the decision making wise you get caught with utility and die there. So you want to be careful like doing that. But I understand why you did it. But yeah. I would just be careful with like getting into like, in active gunfights. Okay, I don't really like us splitting up our setup here the way we have, where we've got like triple. Actually, not really, because I've already planted. Okay, we're not really splitting up then in that case. AFK for some reason, that's fine. It is what it is.
अबे blind होके मार दिया भाई 80 डैमेज है सोगा
Not ideal to go AFK, but okay. Running gun.
कोई है पर
Well, this time. I mean, sometimes they can work, you know. Running gun sometimes does work. You'll see like people like Tens and Asuna, like they'll run and gun sometimes, and that's because the bullet. Where else can the bullets go sometimes? This is maybe a bit too far away to run and gun, to be fair. But yeah, ult is fine as well.
Nice. Diffuse करो
Yeah, ult was good. Ult was good.
एक बंदा डिफ्यूज
Crosshair placement, but I understand why. When did
कर वो तेरे को नहीं मारेगा देख
He's missed. Oh wait, this is so good. This is cinema. This angle is cinema. This angle is cinema. He's just diffusing and the ult is going over him. Well, that's so funny. Well, that's so funny. That's so good. He's just diffusing. It's like the Matrix. Diffusing under the silver ult. That's insane. I think a really bad decision making. Believe me, everyone is at this elo, and it makes a lot of sense because you know you like I feel like I can tell like you're maybe new to the game and things as well, and you as I mentioned before, it's just like a learning experience. You're gonna make bad decisions when you're learning. It's part of the experience. It's part of learning is to make bad decisions, make mistakes, and move on from them and learn from them. So it is what it is. If you want to make bad decisions, but make sure you're open to learning from them. Like it might have been a bad decision to place two Cypher cages there. Anyway, but it was for sure. But you can learn from it and say next time, you know, I'll just place one. Or you can do like the one where you like ran out the smoke last time. Was it this round? Like this one? This was a bad decision, right? Because the reason why this was a bad decision is because this person, while they are fighting the Omen, first of all, you don't have utility to trade the Omen. And second of all, if the Omen, for whatever reason, didn't become the fight anymore, this guy is going to be swinging, and the next swing, you're the next guy in line to die to that guy. So you would have your utility, basically. I played this in 2023, then I started playing again. Okay. Yeah, so it's just about being open to potential mistakes you're making and fixing those mistakes. Is what it is. It's okay to be bad at decision making. It's all good. Everyone's bad at it at some point. You just got a second one off the mark. That's actually cinema, by the way. That's so good. That's so good. He was just completely missing above it. That's so funny. I swear I aimed at the spike. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Okay. Okay, we got a retake situation on hands. 5v3. Okay, so this is gonna be a bit more map knowledge here. Whenever I go through this area, my first crosshair placement is gonna be here. When I first come through the corner, because it's gonna be the first thing that I see without exposing myself to anything else. So if right here, I would have swung by now. I would have swung this angle here. So when I'm retaking, I swing this angle here. Because this is an angle that someone can be at. The next angle is one that's very iconic for this specific position. Which is here. So once I've swung this, I'm going to swing this one next. Like this sort of section. I can't undo. This sort of section here. The reason for that is because of the bench. A lot of people will sit on bench and try and one-tap you above it. Above this little box. So I always pre-aim for that as well. And then I'm going to pre-aim for this corner. And then I'm going to clear this. I usually won't pre-aim anything specific over here because they can be around any corner on this. They can be any part of the wall here. So usually I'm not pre-aiming anything specific. I'm just making sure my crosshairs at head height and ready to shoot. I can't undo. Yeah, that's a good kill. Oh my god. Kill. Good for the good as well. We're a 3v5, so you really need to get like these 1v1s. Gecko kind of gifted you that, but that's kind of unlucky. He kind of played the Gecko here, who actually kind of played to his strengths. He knew that you had a Vandal and he had a Spectre, so he's going to go close range and be mobile. He's running at you. So he knew his strength here. That was actually quite smart with the Gecko. The crouch spray by him at the end, maybe not as much. But he knew kind of like what to do in this situation. I mean, he kind of did it solo as well, so it wasn't a great decision by him, really. If he had another teammate there, sure. For sure. But like, yeah, he kind of knew what he was doing in some cases. But you did well. You did well there, actually, to get 120 on him. Because I can see you actually aimed pretty well. Like, you aimed pretty well there. Straight to the center of mass. If that was straight to his head, you kill him. Is it alright if I yap a bit during the VOD and so I'm thinking? Yeah, of course. So if I get Spectre, and then I run and gun, I wouldn't necessarily do that. I would just say that if you happen to have a Spectre, you got to think about the decision making that you can make surrounding that Spectre. So it might be a good idea to be more mobile than if you had a Phantom or a Vandal, for instance. Or it might be a better idea for you to close the gap on people, and be closer to them with a Spectre than if they had a Vandal. Right? If they have a Vandal, then they're going to struggle against a Spectre at super close range. They have to land their headshot, otherwise they're probably going to die. So it's about just like adapting to what gun you actually have and what gun you can afford in the game, and changing your gameplay to kind of match that. Usually, it's like, for instance, like there's going to be rounds where it's good to buy a Judge, and you're going to be changing your gameplay to match that. You're going to be changing your gameplay to match the gun that you want to use. That is really good in that situation. I mean, it kind of goes two ways in some ways. Like sometimes you do need to have a specific situation. The gun matches the situation, so you buy that gun. Like it could be that too. But it depends. It depends. Heavily. Usually on gun range, it is just a good idea to get used to the Vandal and the Phantom, especially right now as well, when we're like, when you're just trying to like learn like the mechanics of the game and that kind of stuff. It's much better to have as many rounds as you can with the Vandal and the Phantom, because they're the most used weapons. I'll try to do it. You don't have to be too much. You don't have to be looking for those adaptive rounds right now. I wouldn't bother trying to look for like the specific rounds for like Spectre or Phantom or whatever. I would just like, or like Judge or whatever, right? I would just focus on when you have a gun, how will I use this gun efficiently? Like for Phantom, it's going to be closer range than the Vandal, but the Vandal wants like medium range fights. The Phantom's good at close range to medium fights. The Vandal's quite good at long range. If you have an Operator, you don't want a short range fight. If you have a Judge, you want a short range fight. That kind of stuff. Just think about it like that. Think about it like that. Instead of like specifically buying guns for what you want to do. I would leave that until you're a lot more well versed with the game. But yeah, just try and adapt to what you've got. It's a good idea.
Planting.
Oh my god, what is that guy doing?
Spike planted.
The Silver is so funny. The enemy Silver. His decision making is so scary. That's what we do. You do best. That's what you can do. That's good.
इसी का पीछे
It's always
बैठी है
best to do your best.
इसी का पीछे बैठी थी मार मार मार
Yeah, I like it.
पीछे बैठी थी
Okay,
मार
you know
मार
where the
मार
res was as well, so
इसी का पीछे बैठी थी मार मार
the
मार
peek you did was actually pretty decent there. I can actually see you actually did a really good peek here.
बैठी है
Do you know why the peek was good?
मार मार मार
Because I mean, the aim wasn't great, but the movement was good. Is what I'm trying to say actually. Because what you did is actually something what some people will try and do as well. Is where you did something called an L-shaped peak. Which I call an L-shaped peak anyway. Maybe it's not necessarily colloquially known as that. But it's basically what a peak that where you walk forward and you go, or necessarily you walk in a direction, and you then fully go into a sideways motion, like fully go A or D on the keyboard. So you go full left or full right on their screen. The reason why is because it's going to maximize your movement speed on the enemy. Like you kind of got closer to the angle as well. If you get closer to the angle, sometimes it can be faster on their screen. Sometimes it kind of depends on the situation. But sometimes it's like, for instance, you'd be faster off their screen if you're close to the angle. So sometimes it's good to do it like that way. But the main thing that I want to pick up on is that you essentially went full. You held in D the entire time to peek. This makes you faster on their screen, and you can probably see that the Reyna had to. You can actually see that the Reyna had to adjust quite a lot. Like here. Actually, wait. She kind of like over peaks you. Actually, she was looking backside mid motion there. She was looking backside. She's intending to look backside. She's looking backside right now. And if I just tab in correctly, you can see here that she takes a while to actually swing to you because of how fast you are. I don't know how I did that. because of how fast you were. Go back to it. Because of how fast you were.
पीछे बैठी थी मार मार मार
Then we get this L shape for peak for more movement, better control. Yeah, so it's basically just about being faster on an enemy screen, basically. It's exactly the same as planting yourself. You know how I said you plant yourself and then you peek and then you like swing and then yeah, whatever, right? Like where you like sit behind the corner, swing and then shoot. While I'm standing still here. Exactly the same. It's exactly the same as that, really. It's just that what you've done is you've moved forward before you've planted yourself. Essentially, you've done it in one motion. So you've done the L shape, and you've basically instead of stopping here, you've just moved instead. There's basically the same thing. Usually you would do the L shape peak, because you want you're either like low on time, you're pushing further basically, so you don't have time to plant yourself and do the crosshair, and that kind of stuff. And also the L shape peak is better for like it's just better for when you push for time. Like generally, that's going to be the best time to use it. It's also good for like keeping your momentum as well, because I mean you can kind of fix that with this one anyway. You can plant yourself further away from the angle and get full momentum anyway, but it can be good for just keeping your momentum as well. So yeah, they're really similar, really similar. Same concept you're gonna be using anyway. So yeah, you don't have to specifically do the L shape peak or whatever. It just happens to be something that you can use. It's not something that you should like go out your way to use. It's more than likely better for you to. It's more than likely better for you to plant yourself, and then swing and then shoot. More than likely, most of the time. Okay, so we go for a flank this time. I like it. I like the flank. We get a gun.
My ultimate is ready.
You can ult here as well, I think. We definitely ult. I think I would still ult here, to be fair, but I'm okay with also not ulting it. But it's 4v1 because Sage ulted, so maybe not actually. Yeah, I think as soon as Sage ulted, you didn't need to anyway. Maybe it's good to save it there. I think I didn't realise Sage ulted until then. AFK at the start of the round does hit you harder when you are CYPHER, because a lot of like CYPHER's gameplay time is also in the buy phase because you're placing trips and stuff. Obviously you can't help it sometimes, you have to go AFK, but just to bear that in mind, like if you do find yourself going AFK at the start of rounds, like in like buy phase, I would try and play someone that doesn't have much setup to do as well. Because obviously going AFK can sometimes be like super unavoidable. So if you are like someone that just has to go AFK in buy phases, try and play someone that's like doesn't have much setup to do. They can just like play the game instantly when the round starts, that kind of stuff. Because CYPHER, you generally want to set up everything. So if that happens to be the case, it might just be in this game or whatever. Right? It happens. Okay, let me go back real quick. We got the kill on Sage. Yeah, once again, shooting too fast. We can take our time. You know, our first bullet went hit here because we were moving and shooting. We can take our time. We can move and aim before we shoot. Especially aim. At least aim before you shoot, I would say. At least aim before you shoot. The movement, we can get that later, but definitely aim before you shoot.
You will not.
आगे कैसे ट्यूब बात की
What's happening here? We're going Odin.
heal खिला के कैसे
So I should work on my aim then on movements. I think you can do everything at once. I think you can do movement and aim at once. But I would, in fights, I would focus more on your aim than your movement, even though your movement will help you a lot. I would make sure that you are kind of doing them at once though. I say that because aiming is going to be the one that is going to be more impactful at this point. But movement and aim is very much like the two mechanics that are kind of married together a lot. Yeah, like counter strafing, yeah. Because counter strafing does make up both aiming and movement. So they're going to be things that you're going to be using at the same time a lot of the time. So you can break them up and do one first, I guess, if you want to. But at some point, and very early on in that some point, you're going to have to put them together. So you might want to aim like a tiny bit in DM first, and then when you feel like comfortable aiming, that's when you'll add in the movement. But I would add in the movement really quickly, like when you feel like just marginally more comfortable. Because they are, as I've mentioned, they are very, very important to be used together.
You will not
And I think as well, it's very important to... It depends on how you learn, because sometimes it's better to break things up. And in fact, I would say argue that maybe a lot of the time it's better to break things up that you want to learn. But there are times where it makes more sense for you to learn things as a whole, because it puts things more in perspective for you. So it kind of depends. It depends on how you learn, I would say. So just try it. If it doesn't work out, you'll try the other way. Like break it down more, you know? It just depends on how you learn. And not everyone really understands how they learn. Because a lot of people, like, they either... Sometimes education lets people down, and they don't actually figure out how they actually learn as a person, because the school doesn't really understand how they learn as a person either. So sometimes it can be that as well, and you just need to figure out how you actually retain information, how you learn, and, like, retain information. It can be something like that as well. And like that stuff will help you with life as well. If you can understand that from playing Valorant, that's a pretty good, valuable thing to learn for life. If you don't already understand how you learn. The game. Oh my god. Yeah, that was a good game overall as well. So I think the main takeaway is like the mechanics. So counter strafing, which I've already demonstrated. And yeah, movement and aim is on the main two things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really quickly go back onto Valorant. Close this. I'll close the Chrome tab because I don't think I need it anymore. I'll go back on Valorant. And I'll quickly go on practice again, and then we'll also go on DM. So, what happened there? I'll also put on sound in a second. So this one's going to be one for the range. So I've got 2 exercises for you that you can do. You can also feel free as well to use things like aim labs as well, or Kovacs if you have Kovacs. Use those if you want to, and that kind of stuff. I do have some exercises on those, like some routines on those if you want them as well. I just have to remember them. But yeah, those ones are ones that you can, like, those things are things you can use if you want to use them, and then go for it. I just need to put my audio back on. Okay. So the first thing is, aim belongs is quite confusing. Yeah, if you don't use it, that's completely fine. I think you can learn the game without aim labs. Aim labs, in my opinion, is probably like, if you want to use it to learn, you can, but you generally want to get a feel for the game anyway. So it can be a bit of a waste of time for a lot of people. I think aim lab is pretty good for like refining aim. It's really good for like refining people's aim when they're really good at aiming already. That's what I would describe aim labs as a lot of the time. But this is the exercise that I want you to do for counter strafing. And I just want you to place trips like this. Just level with this in here like this. And then we've got this. And what I want you to do is I want you to try and hit the middle of the door with counter strafing. So you can see here I'm going to counter strafe like this. And the important thing is about this is that it doesn't matter how accurate you are on the second bullet. On the second bullet, I couldn't care less how like accurate you are on the second bullet. But the important thing as well, turn on the shooting error at the top. You see my shooting error on the top right. Make sure you have that graph on. I didn't actually see you have that graph on. It's a very important graph to have on. So I would have that on, especially for this. But have it on at all times, ideally, because it can help you point to mistakes and that kind of stuff. But yeah, have this on. So you can see here on the shooting error graph, when I've got like yellow on the shooting error graph, it means that I'm shooting accurately. You can see here, if I move to shoot, I get blue. So you don't want to see blue. You want to see not very much blue if possible. And yeah, so that's what you want to do. And with this, you want to make sure you go past these lines. You want to go past the trips when you can strafe. And what this does is it ensures that you're taking like a fair amount of a full step to make sure to like maximize your amount. To maximize your amount of movement on the enemy screen. Yeah, blue is bad, and yellow is good, or like gold is good, whatever color it is. Yeah, that's what you want, like this. It doesn't matter as well if you do something like this, where you can see this first bullet is gold and the second bullet is blue. I don't mind that too much. Because the second bullet isn't really that important. The first bullet's going to be like the main one that's important to get correct. I would also as well, I would think about doing bursts of 2, but you can also do bursts of 3 or 4 as well if you want to do bursts of 3 or 4. Because I think bursts of 3 or 4 are also more realistic in actual games. So if you're going to do bursts of 3 or 4, then do that as well. And once again, the second, third, and fourth bullet being blue, not too much of a problem. Just make sure that the yellow one is blue. The first one is yellow. Though I said the yeah. Okay, nice, good English. Make sure the first one is yellow is what I mean to say. But yeah, that's it on this one. So yeah, we're gonna leave that one, and that's pretty easy to do. Just give yourselves like 10 minutes to do that, and try and get a feel for it, or whatever. Not even 10 minutes if you don't want to. Just like whenever you've got chance, just do that. Help your muscle memory do its work with that. So the other one is deathmatch. Is on deathmatch, and this one is kind of half as well. You can kind of do this in competitive games as well, and it's just about crosshair placement and kind of understanding where you want to put the crosshair in maps as well. And it's just going to help you with it also does incorporate counter strafing as well in this like exercise as well. So when we get into game, I can show you what it is. And also, it doesn't matter what your KD is in this DM as well. It does not matter at all. You can go 0-40. It does not matter at all. It's all about learning. So it's kind of annoying it's corrode because I don't really know corrode that well.
Warm up.
But basically, what I want to do is you want to select a corner on your screen, and I'm just going to be at head height away from the corner like this to give myself ample time to shoot the person that comes around the corner. And then once I get to this point where I've got to select a new corner, so I'm going to select this corner here, I'm going to peek that corner like this. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to peek the next corner like this. And if I do come into contact with someone, hopefully I do come into contact with someone, that doesn't interkill me. If I do come into contact with someone, I'll try and see if I can one. I'm going to counter strafe, so I'm going to select a corner. I'll select the corner right here because I can hear a guy on the right. I'm going to select this corner, I'm going to scan this corner, I'm going to swing the next corner. And you can see I've got that guy right. Then I'm going to select this corner. Go in this corner. I'm going to select the next corner. Bang. Do it again. Next corner. And it's about having like map knowledge, right? And then if you do get into a fight, then it's all about counter strafing. So if you get into a fight, just do like this, right? See if I can find a fight. Just a bit counter strafing. See if I can find a fight again. Like that, right? That's what you want to do. If you see someone, try and do a counter strafe. So 2 bullets, 3 bullets, 4 bullets. What you did with the CYPHER in the range. Just like essentially the same movements. That's essentially what you want to do. The same movement, same aiming. Yeah, so that's it for the exercises. If you do have any questions or anything, then just message me on Discord. That's completely fine. If you have any questions, if you want any other exercises and that kind of stuff, if you feel like you've made some progress, want to tell me, that's completely fine. So yeah, just feel free to message me on Discord at any time with any questions. And you can also message me in general chat as well if you want to. If you want to have any questions in there as well, if you don't want to DM me, that's also completely fine. The other thing I wanted to say was your VOD should be on YouTube. So on my live section, it should be there. So if you want to rewatch any parts, you can. There's one more thing that I'm forgetting. I can't remember, but yeah, those 2 things: questions on DMs or general chat in Discord, and live VOD is always there as well. So that's it. That's it for the VOD. I haven't talked for this long in so long, so my throat is like dying, which is not great, but it's fine. I also might have a cold. I mean, my sister came over yesterday with a cold, so there's a chance that I also have the cold. So let's hope not. But it is what it is. If I do, I do. It is what it is. Okay, so that's it for the stream. I'll be back at some point during the week. It'll probably be before next Saturday. It'll be in the week sometime that I'll come back, and I will do another coaching session. I think I do have another one that I want to do. It will be it'll be Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday. It'll be one of those 3 days, probably. More than likely. For the next one. Next VOD. Oh, that's also something I wanted to also say. is that if you do if you want to submit another VOD, then you can. I would wait 2 weeks at least, if not 4 weeks. It kind of depends on how much you play. If you play a lot, then 2 weeks is fine. But if you play not that much, so like anything less than like, I would say anything less than 14 games a week, which is quite a lot to be fair. Anything less than that, I would wait 4 weeks. But anything more than that, then 2 weeks. You're playing a lot, okay. Yeah, if you're playing like a lot, then you can probably wait 2 weeks and send me another VOD if you want to, and we can kind of like look at that. You're playing 8 games there, that's quite a lot, yeah. Yeah, that's quite a lot. So yeah, maybe you can wait 2 weeks and then send me another VOD if you want to do that. But yeah, if you're not playing too much, then it would be 4 weeks. But yeah, you can wait for as long as you want as well. If you don't feel like you've made enough progress, then you can wait another week or two. Like, just, it's up to you really. It's up to you. It's free whenever, so you just submit a VOD when you feel like you want to submit a VOD, as long as you wait another 2 weeks, because it probably won't be enough time to kind of let the lessons settle and you improve. So yeah, my next submission will be on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it's going to be Phoenix on Bind Plat 1. So yeah, I'll be back on then. Be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm not sure exactly when it will be. But one of those 3 days. I'll practice more and play more. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you do feel like you're like running into another rut again or something, then you can message me as well. So if you feel like you've got like some burning questions, just tell me, and then maybe you can fix it that way as well. But yeah, I'll just wait 2 weeks before a VOD. That's it. Okay. I'll be back in the week sometime. So yeah. Bye bye. I will end stream now. I've ended it on